So we'll call the meeting
Okay.
to order. Dustin won't be here except by phone. So call the meeting to order to have an approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Do I have approval of the consent agenda?
Your list of bills includes only one new one from what I sent you on Friday. It's the very bottom one on the left-hand corner right this second. I can't remember what it is. The library's bills are included in this bill list for your approval, but their budget is really short. So I'm going to pay what I can in June and roll some of those bills over to the 1st of July. So they'll be in, some of those, a big share, about 2/3 of their total bills, which was like $750, will actually be in the first quarter, or in the first period of fiscal year 12. That's the way they approved them and sent them to me, so we'll do the best we can to use their budget up. The only other thing, our power bill was excitingly high, and I'm going to do some work on some of that in the next month. I think we're going to need to start working on power supply contracts sooner than later. Our kilowatt hour charge for power was just under 9 cents wholesale. Yeah, exactly. So
That's from the REC.
that's from the REC.
WAPA's set rate, isn't it?
Right, and it costs about 1/3 of that. It'll be about 3 cents, maybe just a little bit more, but then we pay transmission on top of that to get here. So the REC changed their structure a little bit. They're actually charging us less per kilowatt hour, but they're charging us more for peak demand, which is the one when we talked about doing the smart thermometers and some of that to try to control our peak. We're paying for peak, and we had a significant one in, I think it was the 10th of May, the day it was 100, so we'll look for another
There's
one of those.
REC charges for peak demand.
Well, they all do,
Yeah.
but they significantly raised the peak demand charge and lowered some others, but it resulted in a net increase to us. That is less controllable than the way it was, if that makes any sense to you. Otherwise, that's all I have for the...
So do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
The consent agenda,
Consent agenda.
unless you want to pull bills out separate.
No.
Okay.
Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Okay, the next item on the agenda, has everyone had a chance to read over our proposal from JEO? It looks like there's no retainer fees needed. There's 4 phases that we will go through, and at $5,025, we can find out what our possibilities are with our property down there. So if everyone is okay with it, I have a motion to approve, to start the process.
I guess personally, I'm not too excited about what it's costing for it. It seems like a lot of money for it. I mean, personally, due to the fact that we're losing businesses faster than what they're trying to knock our door down to get in, it doesn't seem to me like a good expense,
But we have to start somewhere with the property to see what we can do with it. Any other comments?
Is there a way to break it down?
Just broke down.
what he explained to us last month, Janelle, if I may,
Yes.
is that the proposal would do the preliminary field study, the data collection, which means that they would review the water and wastewater system to see what would be necessary for what we may build up there, and as well as property lines and all that kind of stuff, and then prepare, I think, 2 site plans or 2 site options and probable construction costs, or an estimate of construction. Then separate from that would be a phase 1 environmental study, which Myron led us to believe last month that the phase 1 will need to be done at any time we would want to sell the property or develop it, being it is 125-year-old railroad property. Anything could be there, so that's why the big cost of this is that environmental study. And it's kind of a catch-22 the way I see it. We can do the environmental study along with the rest of it and know exactly what we've got and what we can do, or we can have the site plan done and then go, okay, now do the environmental and see if the site is suitable. I mean, you can cut the cost by eliminating that phase 1 environmental, but at some point it's still going to have to be done.
At the cost to the city, or can it be done once someone was interested in it and then have them pay the cost?
To remove the contamination if it's contaminated.
But this isn't even removal. This
Okay.
is just to see what's in there. Doesn't even...
That would be another subject that would have to be brought up if it was contaminated.
Then we, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's another whole can of worms. Can you force that off onto someone purchasing the property? I would highly doubt it. I can't legally answer. Yeah. We've been talking about this, doing something with that property since we obtained it, and the stumbling block was the professional services to move forward. And
Maybe if we don't do the environmental part of it right now and do the others and see what they recommend and then go from there.
we put the money away from the sale of the other one for this purpose, so, I mean,
We
it's
have
up
the
to
money
you.
right there.
Money sitting in the CD for this purpose.
And if we have the environmental done, then we know what obstacles we're gonna have with the property. Because if there's something underground that we don't know about, then that's gonna change our whole outlook on what we're gonna do with the property if there's something there. Because that's gonna add to the cost.
Which makes sense,
Yeah.
but they have railroad property.
You can look at it the other way too. You can see what you can do and then see if it's worth it if you do have environmental problems. So you can look at it both ways. But
Are we getting shot a deal by doing it all at once?
yeah, we get to.
I don't
doubt
know.
it, I know.
There's no
Probably
retainer
because
fees
every
with
time
it,
you
so-
make them come back, and some of this they'll do while they're here doing the other thing, I don't know.
And it's just gonna be in a preliminary investigation.
Oh, we've been wanting to do something with it, so maybe we should just
Do we have any
go ahead
offers on
and
any
bite
of
the
that?
bullet.
Brown?
What?
Do we have got any straight up offers besides like the one right up front, or, you know, just say you sectioned it off yourself?
I've had conversations with people, but nothing that's moved beyond conversations.
Yeah, my dad made one offer for the part between the gun shop and his house.
But this wouldn't be surveying now, would it? Are we just talking?
No, that would include that,
That would include that lot too?
yes, it would include the entire property that is ours up there.
Oh, okay, I was just thinking it was the
Right
lot
where
clear
the building
south.
was.
Yeah.
No, that's the entire thing, and especially, the issue with that one at the time was the access to the utilities, and so that's what they're really gonna look for, and another way to get the utilities out there besides that, because those look like more prime lots, so.
Yes, sir.
Is this property for development as a commercial property? Is what you're
I
wanting
don't
to look at
think
it
we've
for?
decided.
You haven't decided?
We haven't, we
So
haven't
could it be
made
commercial,
any.
residential, could be a city property, any of those?
We, if I can answer this one, we really feel a need for housing development in town.
Housing, okay.
Okay, but this site may not be suitable for housing development. Or it may end up being a combination with, 2 or 3 or 4 housing lots and then a commercial lot along the highway. But the other thing we don't know at this point, even though there's access from the highway, what we don't know and what they will have to find out for us is if the DOT will allow there to be like a street that would go to the back part of the property. That's another thing, until you start designing this and talking to them, you don't even know whether they'll allow.
It's part of the data collection.
Is this property right on the highway?
Yeah, just on the very south edge of town there, on the west side of the road.
I think as long as we've talked about this over and over, I think we should just go ahead with it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve this property development study.
And second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright.
Motion carried with 1 no response. Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda is an energy efficiency rebate. We have 1 request. And for how much was the rebate?
$100.
Do I have a motion to approve this rebate?
I'll make a motion.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Thank you.
Must be family.
Yeah, they just,
Yeah.
they got new washers and dryer high efficiencies in it. New fridge, or I don't know what it was for.
Okay, the next item is the EECBG grant update.
I have a meeting here. The guy from the Office of Energy Independence will be here on the 21st. I intend to have a lot of homework done with him before he gets here. I had mentioned to him, he called right after the last council meeting, and I mentioned to him that we were thinking about the Christmas lights, and he wasn't bowled over by that idea. So he was going to do some research, and I was going to do some research, and we were going to try to hash that out when he's here as far as what they will pay for our event. I will be able to report to him that I think our event is scheduled for the 23rd of October. The other thing I want to visit with him about, and he was fairly excited about, was the idea of some of our solar lighting, or some of our lighting, outdoor lighting becoming solar, like some of our security lighting and maybe street lights. And in fact, his office is going to be very willing to help us study through all of that to make sure that what we're doing is actually going to save us money. So that's our update for right now, is that I've kind of put the approvals for you guys on hold because I wanted to have an opportunity to sit down with this guy.
Any other questions for Nancy on that? No? Okay, the next item on the agenda is the fire department's usage on the building. My recommendation is that since the fire station, the fire and rescue is an entity of the city of Auburn, and the agreement was made that the city of Auburn shall be responsible for the housing equipment and trucks, as well as the ongoing maintenance and insurance on said building, that there should be no usage for personal use by firemen or public at all. It should remain as just a fire department's for meetings and for their fundraising events. You've all gotten a copy of the remarks that were sent from the other fire stations on their usage. And I think to maintain what we have had in the past, that firemen never used this one for personal use, that we should do the same with the new building. So what does the council want to comment on?
And I think to let him use it is no different than what Jerry was accused of when he was saying that he was using city equipment for his personal use, which he wasn't. It's the same deal with using the fire station for personal use. I don't think it should be allowed. It's nice to have it used, but it can't. It's just not right.
That's what our city hall basement is for activities. And that's what our shelter house is for. And we have to be equal with everyone and not just have special ones use it.
And a lot of people donated to the fire department too, so it's not fair to the ones that donated.
Well, it's not fair if we're not going to open
No.
it up to the public.
Yeah. We would either have to open it up to the public or not at all.
And again, that's why we were renovating the basement, to be used by everyone, so. If the firemen want to use the hall, they can rent the basement as well. But it's up to the council here to make the motion.
I'll make a motion that the fire department do not be used by anybody but fire department meetings.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it, but how can we pass it?
Two votes are allowed.
Okay.
And you're asking Josh and Justin to abstain?
Since they're on the fire department.
Then we're gonna have to go back and redo the budget and everything because we voted on that. No different.
We'll go back and revisit the budget again.
So what does the budget have to do with that?
Because we voted for the fire department's budget and it has,
You're gonna have to be more specific.
if we can't deal with issues on the building, then we can't deal with any issues on the fire department.
This is a different discussion, because I know you two are in favor of you guys utilizing the building.
So since you know our opinion, you knew their opinion and what they sent to you also, so because our opinion is contrary to yours, we cannot vote, is what you're saying.
Don't you think it's a conflict of interest for you to vote?
We voted on every other fire department issue, so I don't see how this is any different.
When we vote on the budget, you're as a council member.
Unless I'm as a council member here. If I sit in this room, I'm as a council member.
Yes, Kurt?
Has your city attorney weighed in on whether or not that's a conflict of interest for your council members?
No, I have not contacted them for that.
I have. And yes, when it comes to operational matters of the fire station, yes. Budget matters, when we do the budget as a whole, no. But operational matters such as this, yes. He feels it's a conflict of interest.
All right, we've had a motion to not allow usage. We've had a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Code of Conduct. At the last meeting, we've had some issues brought up, and according to our Code of Ethics, difficult questions, tough challenges to a particular point of view, and criticism of ideas and information are legitimate elements of a free democracy in action. And these are items that I read at the last meeting as well. This does not allow, however, council members to make belligerent, personal, impertinent, slanderous, threatening, abusive, or disparaging comments. And that did take place, and we did not address it the last time. But the city council may impose sanctions on members whose conduct does not comply with the city's ethical standards. And Justin, excuse me, you know we're referring to you for the voices, faces.
I'm not the only one with made faces and such for this one.
Who else made faces?
First, everybody, when they looked at me, they sat there and gave me the, you know what I mean, look. And
The
all
shock
that,
look?
So, no, a little shock look.
Well, they were childish faces made by you, and you know that.
I don't recall that, but that's fine.
It is the responsibility of the council to initiate action on your behavior. This alleged violation that you've had one warning already in writing. You refused to sign it, but you were made aware of it. So I would like a motion tonight from the council to put you aware that we can have a sanction against you, take some of your responsibilities away from you. Does anyone want to make a motion to that effect? Or make any comments regarding that?
I would think we'd actually have a full table in order to do that. What do you think? Since Dustin was here that day, do you think his opinion would count tonight too?
Yes.
On such a matter like this?
Yes.
Nancy said she could call him if we needed to.
Yeah. I was just saying that it'd be on.
Mm-hmm. So, do you want to call Dustin, or do you want to table this?
I can call Dustin and he can express an opinion, but as far as voting, I'm pretty sure that electronic meeting, he would have needed to be here when we started and be here when we end for him to really participate that way. We can call him and ask his opinion of the matter. That's, I don't think, disallowed, but as far as voting,
I just thought that'd be fair.
Well, we'll so note in the minutes then tonight that this is your second warning, according to the conduct of code of ethics that you did sign and you agreed to do.
Do we have to vote on anything?
No. Next item on the agenda is the fund transfer resolution.
that will be resolution 1109. Anybody have any questions about this? This is a new one. This is requirement given to us from changes from the audit. Yeah.
If there are no questions, do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Yes, Kurt?
Could you read the resolution out loud for the public, please?
Resolution 11, a resolution approving year-end transfer of funds. Be it resolved by the Council of the City of Auburn, Iowa. Number 1, the revenue in the amount of $1,040.84 from the emergency fund to be transferred to the general fund. And number 2, that $440.40 from the local option sales tax fund be transferred to the general fund in satisfaction of the local option sales tax resolution, requiring that 25% of the lost revenues received be used for property tax relief.
Okay, so who was the motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Nuisance abatement. Has anyone had a chance to review in town? Different sightings that you've seen?
The one from last year's cleaned up.
Excellent. And
One, with the white one on the corner too, I just thought of it. Right there by the Catholic Church, has the blue trim. Oh.
on the,
There.
on the southwest corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I know who you're talking about.
And I have visited with Dave Brand, and he does have someone lined up to tear down that building, but he just hasn't gotten to it yet. So it's in the works.
The only one I had was the, after the tree pile up there, all those logs, all that stuff still sitting on the city property.
Yeah, those are the cities.
Yeah, I know, but wasn't Hansel supposed to, or wasn't, didn't he want them?
I thought that was our understanding, is that he was gonna clean that up to get
Because
Jerry
we've
on
had
that one.
some woodchucks back there, is only.
Really?
Yeah. There's been 2 of them back there.
And Dave says when that house goes down, we're gonna have fun with the cats. The house must be full.
The way I hear it, we already do.
Yeah, we do.
I've seen it.
Well, come sit in my yard.
There's a lot in town.
There's
Well, I
John
looked out the back
Brown's.
door this morning, there was a yellow mother cat and 2 yellow kitties playing in the back of the welding shop.
I seen him running in there last night. It's like, what the heck?
Next item on the agenda is the review current mowing ordinance. Currently, we don't have any specifications as to how high we want the grass to get before we confront the owners to make them mow the lawn, so, what are your thoughts?
Hasn't been a problem.
Basically, our ordinance says if they fail to mow their lawn and it's subject to health or safety or environment reasons, we can go in and mow it. Well, that's kind of a subjective thing. We have a couple of properties that get a little close. I think there's one down here by the fruit stand that I forgot to look on my way in that probably hasn't been mowed yet this year.
No, and the trees are still piled up there yet too.
Yeah, and we can go in, if our ordinance is written properly, we can go in and mow it and clean it up and assess the cost to the homeowner. And our ordinance is so vague that I don't think if we ever tried to assess it, we got in court over the deal, we would ever win. So what a lot of cities do is they put a height requirement. If the grass is 8 inches, if the grass is 10 inches, if it's 12 inches, at what point the city can go in. And I don't know that we have a huge issue. We haven't done anything with that property.
Yeah.
We haven't attempted to do anything with that property. But if we were to,
In case it does get out of hand sometime.
it's just a discussion. Are you interested in looking at ordinances or are you not, is really where we're at tonight.
Well, we had such a problem on the corner where, by Earl. That was terrible. What happened to that? That was a
Oh, that whole
disgrace.
situation.
That whole situation's
So
a
there's,
bad one.
yeah, so something should be done. Anyway, I think that we should put a limit on it. A height.
What has other cities used as the height limit?
I've seen, it's been a topic of discussion lately on ClerkNet, and it's anywhere from 8 to 12 inches.
I think 8 inches is plenty.
Yes.
But what I would do is probably obtain sample ordinances from other communities that are kind of tried and tested rather than
Mhm.
just go in there and say, well, suddenly now it can only be 8 inches. And
But then the dandelions are taken over in those yards too, and then people that are trying to avoid the dandelions have a losing battle. So,
so if you'd like, I'll bring
Yeah.
sample
Yes,
ordinance
please.
Yeah.
forward next month that
next item is the website review. How many of you have checked into our website?
It's been a while.
Long time.
well, people do go to our website quite a lot. I don't have counts or anything like that. But what has become the issue is the person who was doing our website work has had some personal issues that we won't discuss. But basically what's happening is the updates that I sent her months ago aren't getting done. And I would like to bring the website updates back in-house rather than trying to pay somebody and chase somebody down. I was looking at people's websites, and the cities who were updating their own websites were doing a pretty good job of keeping them current.
Does it take a long time to update it, like say yourself?
No. And I've learned to use some of the softwares that you do this with, so it's much easier. When I first started here, I didn't want to touch it because that was kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Now it's not, it doesn't scare me a bit, I guess is more what I'd like to say. We can do it with software that we currently have, but it won't be real fancy and it won't be real user-friendly.
That's the major thing, is to have it user-friendly.
Yeah. Currently, we're hosted through the ESAC County School System, and at this point, that doesn't cost us anything, but when our website goes down, it can be really difficult to figure out whose issue it is and to get it back up. And we have an issue with that at least annually when the new school year starts for whatever reason, or sometimes for a couple of months in the summer when those people aren't in the building all the time. I would like to propose to you that we use a software that's approved by the Iowa League of Cities and used by 50 other cities in the state called GovOffice. What I learned from the clerks out there in ClerkNet is GovOffice is the easiest to use. We would be able to instantly or very instantly put minutes, agendas, our ordinance book, all of that stuff would be accessible to anybody accessing our website. We can go a little farther and they can download like the application for utilities. They can download the application or the form that I make them fill out to rent the shelter house or the community building. That one we can currently do, but that's the only thing we can do that way. We would have a calendar of events that would list council meetings. We do that now on our website, but we could do a lot better job.
So what's the cost?
Yeah.
What
Well,
we don't want to know.
Here's what the deal is. If we go with GovOffice, we have to be hosted by them. We have to be hosted through their servers, but they would be responsible for keeping us up and going. Our reliability would increase. The hosting is $400 a year, which is $33 a month. And that is ongoing. That would be every year would be that hosting fee. The software itself is $1,225.
What was it costing us to have this gal do it in Lake City?
Well, nothing, because she doesn't do it.
Because what?
Because she doesn't do it.
Oh.
But when she was doing updates, we were paying her $35 an hour.
Well, did she do updates?
Yeah.
We
Well,
never saw any changes hardly ever.
once a year is all I could get them done. And see, we're starting to get requests, like I said, for minutes and agendas, and we can make these things available and accessible this way. 3 years ago, I didn't think it was time. Now I think it's time. And if you don't want to decide tonight, that's fine. But if we go with something like this, I would propose that we leave the current site where it is, as is, until the new one is done and ready to go online, and then switch over at that point.
Have you checked into any other private firms, like Computer Concepts or any of them? Do they
Yeah,
do any of that?
I have, and that my experience with other firms is you run into the same thing. They get busy, or it's a signed line job, and you don't get them done. Like I said, the people who were updating their own websites had current minutes and agendas on there. The cities who weren't doing that might be 6 months behind.
How many extra hours do you think you're going to have wrapped up in it?
Initially, I'm not sure. after we get it up and running and I learn how to use it, I'm thinking maybe a couple hours a week at the most, at the very most.
Yes, Kurt?
Do you have anything that you're hosting that's confidential?
No.
No. I don't
Are
think
you
so.
able to host stuff on your own server?
No. And I have no access to the server whatsoever, so
What you would be hosting though is documents,
yes.
and that would be the extent of what you think. That and probably some sort of calendar.
Yeah, we would, it's extra fees. I think what you're asking is would we be doing communications that way? And the answer is no, because there are extra fees for those kinds of services.
Is there something that doesn't allow you to use free services? I mean, is there a law that says municipalities have to use a certain kind of software?
I don't think so.
No,
I
it's
just
just-
haven't been able to find any that are free. I mean, the free part of what we've got now is that it's hosted through the school. And I just keep thinking one of these days they're gonna wake up to that and go, wait a minute. But maybe not either, I don't know.
Well,
No, I don't think so, because I think they use it as a practicing tool for the students, don't they? Isn't the students the ones doing it?
They don't touch our website.
Oh.
They might
So-
do on their own, but they don't on ours.
I thought maybe they were the ones that.
See, that's
made
where
it.
our website actually started as work for the students to do.
Right.
And that sat there for 3 years and never got touched. And so then we had this gal in Lake City create the website. And she's kind of dropped, she's not, I mean, she was doing a great job for the first couple of years, and the last, well, it took 6 months to get the new mayor and council's names on the website.
there's so many people that get on the internet in the libraries and things and look what the towns and things are doing, and I think it's a food for thought. That it's time we grow sharing what our town has, what we're offering, what's available here. Because I know when I moved here, I didn't even know what churches were serving who. You know, there's just, we can post a lot of that stuff on there for people to find out. Like the Centennial.
Historical.
Yes, thank you.
And the library, they all want a web presence, and
We can have Nancy search other options for website data for her to do, maybe to see what other prices we can come up with.
I've looked at some, but I haven't done maybe the total research that,
Okay.
I mean, you asked me what it cost, I maybe wasn't even gonna tell you tonight till you asked.
That's the most important part.
So we'll have you check into that more then, okay, Nancy?
Okay, yep. And if you get a chance, go on our website and look at it. And it's very basic and pretty primitive, but if you get an opportunity, you know, it'd be nice if you'd look at it, maybe even think about ways that you'd like to change it or additional services and things that you'd like to see us do with it, because much more is possible than it was 6 years ago when we developed that website.
So at each, like the library and the historical and the rec thing, could they put all their stuff on there too, have different departments?
Could they do it? Or
No,
could
you
we
guys
use it for that?
use it
Yes,
for that.
Yes,
Mhm.
Not
absolutely.
they do it.
Like the soccer schedule. or
Yeah,
something like
that's
that.
what I was-
Absolutely. We could do such a much better job of communicating with our parents and soccer registrations. I mean,
They'd be able to download their own
Yeah.
forms and.
yeah, we can do a lot of that, and most of it, you know, I wasn't the most computer savvy person when I took this job, and I'm pretty confident with some of it now. This would be kind of a new learning experience beyond the design part of it, but
It's a lot of fun. You're designing them. There's so many options out there. Okay, the next item we have is Randy, the communication meeting.
Justin was there too. I think I'll let him speak, and if he forgets anything, I'll jump in there. How's that? We didn't learn as much as
I
we
guess-
thought we were gonna.
Basically, to start off with, they moved the date on us yet again. So but they moved it in our favor. So basically, we're looking at somewhere in the August, September area of 2012 versus having it initially around May or June. So that's one good thing. On a bad note, we found out up there, in contrary to the sheet we received of what was compliant, in that we have 2 truck radios that will not switch over to the narrow banding. So we're gonna have to.
Originally, the paperwork we were given
Said they were
all our
fine.
radios would qualify, but this guy said they wouldn't. The guy
So
that's actually gonna do switching.
We're gonna have to get 2 new radios. He's basically gonna try to do this entire thing in a 1-day time across the county. He's gonna bring in a bunch of people, and they're just gonna come down here, and all the firemen will either, prior to that time, have to bring their pager in or bring it in while they're here to get it reprogrammed. That's most of the overview of it.
We didn't learn any dollar amounts. He wouldn't go into that at that time. He wants to meet with the individual
basis.
fire departments or police or whatever. And
For reprogramming?
Right, see what it's gonna cost to reprogram and all that, so. We gave him an entire list of what we have, so that he can kinda have all the programs written up, everything else, so hopefully all he has to do is plug into the radios and pagers, whatever, and hit a button and
And he is who?
Steve
it, it's an odd last name.
It's a company?
Quattlebaum.
Yeah, it's Alpha
Okay.
Wireless.
Oh, this is the new guy up at SAC?
He's from Spencer, yeah.
Okay, so there's this would be a fee from a company to come in and reprogram?
Right.
Okay.
They're handling all of SATCOM's stuff.
Unofficially at the meeting, after the meeting was concluded, this is parking lot talk, but they're talking about the possibility of exploring some 911 funds to help out with some of this. So that'll be at our next meeting. There's nothing official.
That came around the door, wasn't
Yeah,
at
that-
the meeting.
No, that was
That's unofficial.
Yeah,
Doesn't
very,
go in the
very,
minutes,
very
right?
unofficial.
Scuttlebutt.
This is just hearsay at this point, but it's gonna be probably explored at our next meeting. Other than that, we learned that we have a new Red Cross representative in Old Bolt to help us out with anything that we need.
Yeah, gave Nancy that info.
What's his name?
Bobby
Darryl
Wells.
Cleveland?
No, it's a lady.
Bobby Wells is her
Bobby
name.
Wells, there you go. So,
She was hired about January, February, I think. Wasn't it?
yeah. Yep. Other than that, that was basically the gist
Texting.
of it.
We're gonna be getting texting for a secondary
Paging
page
system.
system. That's gonna go on, or take effect real shortly.
Yes, they said they thought end of the month if they get everything programmed. But
It's only about 85% effective, but we got 26 members. They'll send 26 pages out by text, but 85% will get them initially,
The rest will get them in an hour or two or whatever
Yeah.
it goes through.
and they can't pick which ones. So.
Is that over your own personal cell
Yeah.
phones?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. What was the other thing on that?
So,
Oh, the county absorbed all the costs for that. The sheriff's department did for putting in that system.
I think it's about $4 grand.
Yeah, about
3,800 or something.
Yeah. 38 or 4,300 somewhere around there. So that's pretty much long and short of it.
Okay,
So.
any questions for them?
Thank you for going.
Yeah. It's good stuff to know.
Yeah. Public forum? Open? Yes, sir?
I didn't hear an audible vote from the gentleman regarding the, let me look this up, using the fire department building for personal use. Did I just miss that, or was there no audible vote from them?
There was no vote from them.
Did not vote, is that not going to be recorded?
Yes.
Abstained.
I didn't hear him abstain. Is it accurate to say that you gentlemen abstained?
Well, we couldn't.
We didn't have a choice. The mayor made us abstain.
So you're both saying that you abstained?
No. I'd like to vote no on the subject, but I was told to abstain.
Public forum closed. Next item, Public Works. Jerry is going to be replacing parts tomorrow.
Yes, they're
And they
starting
should be
the switch over of the brine tank early tomorrow morning. He's getting up early to make sure that the tower is full and that everything is switched over and able to run. If you guys get a fire tomorrow, call for backup.
It'll be down. for a
It won't
while.
be down, but
The main well will be down?
no, the well is fine. They're switching a brine tank inside the water plant, but because they're doing all of this, the treatment system will be less available.
So
So,
normally when we have something large and we let him know, he bypasses the.
yeah, and he probably will be on bypass tomorrow, but just in case, it might just be nice if you just know that it should be all over and done with tomorrow.
Just tomorrow.
Yeah. The other thing Jerry wanted me to make you guys aware of is that the well had to be pulled, or the pump had to be pulled out of the well, and they were there today, and now are able to definitely confirm that it was lightning that took it out. So tomorrow, I will be turning that into our insurance. I haven't seen a bill yet, but I've been saying it had to be lightning because it just happened overnight, and they finally today were able to, they found a burnt hole in some part of the pump, and the only way that could happen was lightning, so. So that's good news for our bill on that, because I think it'll be high.
Yes. Jerry Evans said it was around $8,000.
What would he know about it? Sorry, but
Okay,
yeah,
Nancy?
I don't know. Yard of the month. This doesn't take any official action, but does anybody have a yard of the month they want to suggest?
Haven't looked around.
I don't pay any attention either.
Okay, I'll get the secret judge to handle that. There is a street lighting workshop in Ankeny on Sunday in August 17th. And the purpose of this workshop is to learn about the latest street lights and the energy efficiency and methods of street lighting. Cost of this conference is $65, and I'd really like to go learn some more about energy efficient street lighting if you guys are good with that.
The lights out here are energy efficient.
These are, but we've got
All over, yeah.
50, 60 more that need work. Next meeting, our July meeting, I will have a representative here to visit with you about working on the streets, all the street work that we need done. It's been a real stumbling block because financing is an issue, and exactly what needs done or what's acceptable is a technical thing that we don't have necessarily technical staff. So at a meeting, I ran into a gentleman by the name of Dave Sturm. Most of you probably know Dave Sturm. He works for a company called Snyder and Associates. We've dealt with them before. And Dave was up here and visited and has taken a look at our street, that what needs done, and he's putting together some kind of a proposal for you guys to look at the next meeting. So he'll be here to discuss that with you. We've got some plants that need replaced in our streetscape project, and I'm working on that. And there is, I sent it out to you guys today in the email, and knowing what I've learned about what's going on in Lauraville regarding their post office, I would certainly suggest that somebody attend this meeting. It's a meeting on Saturday, June 25th. They're trying to put together a meeting of mayors to meet with the governor and discuss some of the things going on with post office closings.
I know a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, I know you know a lot of it, and the gal from Lauraville rode with me to the meeting the other day, and they just, because they didn't have a postmaster, just decided to close that post
That's
office.
what will happen.
And some of them, they've put the excuse as leases or not being able to get great terms on leases on the buildings. Our lease is good until 2014. I was able to look that up. But I think that's a serious concern.
But they can cut them off at any time they want.
Yeah.
But they normally won't do a post office where there's a postmaster. But they may take their routes out and cut their hours down,
Or Cindy may
Yeah.
retire.
Yeah, I may retire and then they might
And
look at it closer.
So, and I think it's a real
And
issue
it doesn't make
for-
any difference what size it is, because they're taking the city routes out of Webster City and putting them, and the city carriers, and putting them all into Fort Dodge. Just like they're making Rockwell City rural routes and city routes go over to Sac City.
So we would have to go to like Sac or
No,
Carroll, get,
no,
would
no.
they bring
No.
it here yet?
The mail here, well, it depends on how it works, but like the mail for Rockwell City will all go to Sac City. And it will be case sorted there, and then it would be, they would drive over to Rockwell City, and then they would have to bring the townspeople's mail with them. It's a real screwed up
like hand
process.
deliver each house, or would you have a centralized location yet?
Well, they would still have their post office in Rockwell City. They just
Okay.
would not have their rural and city carriers. They would be,
But like if
Domiciled out
Lauraville
of
lost
Sac.
theirs, what would they?
If
They
Lauraville,
would
they
be
were going
picked
to
up.
close the post office completely.
they would be put on a rural
Rural
route.
route.
So then you'd have it delivered to your
Door.
home.
Yeah, but if
okay.
you
Or
wanted
to a cluster
A
box.
cluster box is
Yeah.
what
That's
I
what
see.
they're doing.
Yeah.
I
And
see.
those aren't fun because they
No.
get broke into.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and I think economically it's hard on a community to be
Yes.
without a post office.
Yeah.
And,
You know, it's hard when you lose your school. Then
yeah.
the next thing you lose your post office, and then everything's gone.
So, I don't know if anybody has the opportunity
People
to go to
don't
this
patronize them
to this
or
meeting.
use them. They're all gone by the wayside.
Yeah,
When
we
is
have to
that?
keep sending so much mail.
June
Because our
25th
post
at 2
office open.
p.m.
Yeah, Saturday, June 25th. It's at 2 o'clock at Iowa Central Community College in Fort Dodge.
They're doing some ugly things and they don't care whether it's cost worthy. I know there's lawsuits out. When they did Lytton, they didn't have a postmaster and they took the route out and they cut the hours down to just 12 to 4. And there will never be another postmaster there.
Wow.
And you can't get your mail till after dinner.
The only other thing,
Sorry, but
Go ahead.
how is it working with the Tri-County with our inserts and stuff?
it's a little dicey, but Kelly has been stopping here about, their sales girl stops once a week. She was in last Friday and I told her she needed to stop this Friday to pick them up.
What does she charge you?
Is it
So
more-
far, no, they're not charging us for that. And,
For any inserts?
well, they charge us for the inserts,
For the
but not for
inserts.
picking them up and taking them to Rockwell City.
Can I ask you how much they charge for the inserts?
If we do both rural route and in town, it's like $25.
Okay.
So 300 and,
What's that come up to a piece?
about 6 cents.
Okay.
Yeah. We can't mail them.
No.
We can't get a bulk permit for that.
Well, they have a new thing out now where you can just mail them. They have to be like a basic sheet, and you can mail them out to anybody. And I think it's 14 cents, so you're still cheaper.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have a bulk mailing anymore.
Oh,
They've
really?
changed a lot of that.
That's cool.
Wow, that is cool.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's where we're at with that. No, that, I told her I wasn't very happy about it, and she's heard that a lot. But anyway,
Yes, Kurt?
The things that you're sending out, the flyers that you're sending out, they're not required by law, right? This isn't a newspaper of record situation. This is just so you get your citizens informed.
No, it's how we distribute our minutes. Our minutes are inserted into the tri-county of everybody in Auburn, but about 3 people have post office boxes. And so they're inserted into the tri-county and everybody gets a copy in their tri-county.
As well as the newsletter.
And then the newsletter, yeah, if we do a newsletter. Now that's not a legal publication, but yeah, everybody gets them, everybody reads them. City Hall work is scheduled to begin before the end of the month. That's most of what I have.
Okay, Dustin is not here. So Justin, the emergency board,
Nothing new other than the communications deal.
okay. 125th celebration,
I know we didn't get very many cards back about it, but nobody wanted to work. Very few people wanted to be involved. So I don't know what we're gonna do. We haven't had a meeting since.
okay. Josh, fire department,
Oh, last Wednesday, we had our meeting. We took all the trucks down to the river, and we pumped out of the river. We did some training, in case like the plants not working correctly, a day or two, whatever, so we pump out of the river, get some on fire. Just training.
okay. Did that bill get taken care of? That was missing, okay. Rec committee,
We are in full swing of getting softball, or slow pitch, I'm sorry, going. So,
You're still gonna do that?
we are gonna do it. I sent you an email, by the way.
I got it.
Okay. We need to at least get 8 teams to get it going, we're thinking. We need to have a minimum of 10 on a team. There has to be 5 females on a team. Hopefully to start it in July and before school starts, mid-August. And run it for 4 or 5 weeks anyway.
okay.
So on that note, we would need from the city fencing put up at the tree line, if possible. If we could get the fields worked up. I know one time Jerry said he was willing to get all the weeds and it just needs to be gone over.
By fencing, you mean like a snow fence?
And to make sure all the lighting's working, which I think it is. We was up there not too long ago and the lights on. So, that's how it go. We'll keep moving forward with our plans.
Sounds like a good idea. Okay, the library board,
There's nothing.
historical committee,
They've been working hard over here,
mhm.
very hard.
Looks nice.
Yeah,
I was there the other day.
that's about all I know. They're just getting everything organized and they were gonna have their open house on June 11th, but,
They did
Yeah.
have something.
well,
Yeah.
they were all there.
Yeah.
It wasn't advertised.
No.
But they were all there. But it's coming right along. They're hard at getting it organized.
Council have any comments? Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Aye.